What's good, Knicks Nation? Before I get back to research mode, man, playoffs is over. First time going to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000? The longest this week inside the Knicks playoff edition. We did 7 solid weeks. Coach Tibbs might be on the hot seat. We'll talk about that. Of course, we'll talk about the series. We'll review the series as a whole. Julius Randle's comments. He made some interesting comments. If we have time, I definitely want to talk about that. We might get into some Game 6 stuff, even though we talked about it on the post-game show. Of course, I got Smoke of the Week. And if you watch the post-game show, you would know who gets the Smoke of the Week, so that won't be a surprise. We got Word on the Street and much, much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. What's good, Knicks Nation? I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective Fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, man. Oh, boy, I'm having an interesting day, y'all, to say the least. A lot of technical difficulties, but I'm here. I was tempted to wear the Liberty hat again, you know. To all those guys that was on the post-game show, you guys know I rock the Liberty outfit. Those are my girls. They undefeated right now, 7-0. But I went back to my Knicks, man. You know I got to represent for the Knicks always, man. Win, lose, or draw. And to be honest, if you would have told me going into the season that we would have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost in 6 games, I probably would say that was a success. But salute to everybody in the building. I see you guys trying to get the gamification #1 spot. Salute to you, Crim's dad, in the building. Salute to you, HRM, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel members. Salute to the channel members. I see you, Yuri. Salute to Just Knicks in the house. And salute to everybody as well. Oh, well, how could I forget Knicks will be chance 25-26. Me and him be going back and forth in the Discord server with the whole should we trade for Giannis or should we just stick with the team? But without luck, more than likely it'll just be stick with the team. And also, like, I don't want to trade anybody, right? Like, I don't have a problem with the team the way it's constructed. My Giannis take was if he wants to come to the Knicks. That's it. Like, it's really simple. It's not more complicated than that, right? So that's all I want to say about the Giannis thing. And I might touch on that a little bit later. Wednesday, I might do a show. I think I'm going to do a 10 things that I look forward to for next season, or 10 reasons why I'm optimistic about the next season. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. Of course, the call-up show will be coming back Friday. And playoffs is over, man. I ain't going to lie. I'm still a little upset. I'm still a little upset about the playoffs ending, you know. But it is what it is. We're going to talk about that. Let me jump into research mode early. So basically, if you're new to the pod, we have a blog that's associated with this pod. It's called thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, the link that you see right below on the screen. And this is where we'll be reading from. We'll be looking at all of the sources that's listed here. And hold on. Might have to get rid of the soundboard because it's acting up. But so yeah, this is where we'll be looking from. Okay, we'll be reading from here. Now, believe it or not, there are some special highlights. And of course, this is episode 6 of the playoff, the 2025 playoff edition, the last episode, right? Even though it's episode 6, we did have 7 episodes, 7 blog entries for the pod. I just did 6 videos for it. And we'll be talking about May 26th to June 1st, okay? All of the hot topics there. Of course, we won Game 5, which made us think we were going to win the series. But then we lost games 4 and game 6. Now, it looked like to me the Indiana Pacers kind of gave away game 5. It looked like they said, we're going to try in the first quarter, but if it ain't rolling, we're going to pack it in and come back and put all our energy and efforts into game 6. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. And of course, the juicy topic, some of the topics, I forgot the flagship topic. We will get into these secret team meetings or team meetings. Yeah. It's the off season, y'all. So we getting ready to get into the off season. Expect to see a lot of crazy topics like that, but we'll get to that. I'm gonna work my way to it. We do got some special highlights. Jalen Brunson definitely made a lot of history in these playoffs, scoring wise. I mean, all of the records that he has accomplished, right? Even though we lost, this is something that we still should celebrate. Jalen Brunson on Thursday became the 4th player to ever record 10 games with at least 30 points and 5 assists. The others are Michael Jordan, right, who achieved the feat 3 times, LeBron James, who achieved it in 3 different postseasons, and SGA, the MVP, right? So big time salute to Jalen Brunson for joining that exclusive club. I want to say this, right? And looking at some of these accolades from Jalen Brunson, and there's a couple of more, right? I think that JB could be an NBA first teamer. Should have been an NBA first teamer. So I have concerns about not having that caliber of player trying to win a championship. But JB really is that dude. The thing about it is, we're going to really need to configure this team a little bit better than the way it is now to make sure that JB has some of the tools that he's going to need to be dominant. But salute to JB. I mean, he is the leader. I wouldn't trade him, but for a few people, right? Anybody can go in this league, but I love JB. He's probably the best leader or among the best leaders in the NBA, right? Someone that you want to lead your franchise. We just need to, if we're going to stick with what we got, we're going to have to put the right team around them. Jalen Brunson, more Jalen Brunson. So he passed Luka Doncic and Dave Cowens in playoff scoring. He's number 98 in NBA history. Also, Pascal moved up. But JB, man, once again, doing his thing. Let me see if I can get my soundboard back. If this doesn't work, I'm going to give up on the soundboard. Yeah, I got to figure that out. But salute to JB on that. Let's see. There's a couple of more special highlights. Also, too, I don't have the link, I don't think, to it. The Knicks 10 postseason wins, the most since 2000. Even though, like I said, we wanted to go further. Still some things to be excited about, right? Still some things to be excited about. It could be a lot worse. You could have got bumped in the first round to the Detroit Pistons, So, salute to that. Some more stuff I want to get into. The ratings. I mean, the Knicks have been setting ratings records going back a couple of years, going back a decade. I mean, the Knicks have been the hottest ticket in the NBA. And on Sunday's Knicks versus Pacers NBA Eastern Conference Finals Game 3, it averaged a 3.2 rating and 7.1 million viewers across TNT and True TV, marking the largest audience in a decade for a Game 3 in the East Finals. And like almost every game in that Eastern Conference Finals were like record-setting games or games that go back a couple of years to a decade. Right? Some more. Game 2, right? This was that Friday. It it averaged 6.7 million viewers, right? Between TNT and True TV, marking the largest audience for a Game 2 since 2018, which was Celtics Cavs, right? This was the second straight 7-year high for the series. So Knicks, once again, the hottest commodity, right? You know, I joke, like I say, I kid about the NBA cheat codes. And I did see an article that came out, I think yesterday or might have been even early today. And it was basically saying how all of these ratings and having the Knicks or the Lakers in the finals doesn't really hurt. I disagree with it, but it was basically trying to say that when you look at the ratings and the fact that they already signed the TV deal that we were talking about on the post-game show on Friday, that one finals without two of the big market teams won't hurt. But we already said it. I mean, on the call-up show, a lot of people won't be watching these games. So, yeah, those are some of the things, the highlights. I'm not going to read all of them. There's more. Like, every game was like a high that we hadn't seen in a while. But let me see what you guys talking about in the chat before I move forward. By the way, if you just joined the chat, you know, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, hit the like button, right? So more cool people can check out the video. And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Let me see what you guys talk about before I move on. Salute to Lou Boogie. Our bench was productive. Achua, Mitch, Deuce, but Tibbs needed to go deeper into the bench. He did that, and we lost. He did that. Tibbs went deeper into the bench, and we lost. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Tibbs a little bit later. JB is the Knicks. Facts. Shows the NBA is not completely rigged. Hell no, the NBA is not rigged. Nope, crimes, Dad. Hell no. I joke when I say that. NBA is not rigged. It's not rigged. Because if the NBA were rigged, they're doing a terrible job at it. I would put SGA on the Lakers. I would put Giannis on the Knicks. I would put, you know, Jokic in Boston. You know, I'm just saying, if I'm going to rig it, I'm going to make the big market teams be the best. And clearly we're not. Right? Clearly we're not. So it's definitely not rigged. Yuri talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Fire Tibbs or not. I'm going to get to that in a second. All right. Let me keep it pushing. So I'm going to touch in some of the some playoff stuff. I think I might grind your gears a little bit. And then we'll end on a more optimistic note. So Tyrese Halliburton, he rubs it in. Video mocking the Knicks, right? Sirs and 6, right? This little video here, you guys can check it out. I won't play it. I'm going to say this. My only knock on JB is that he's too friendly. You know, these guys are the ops. These guys want to destroy you, right? These guys are not your friends, right? Listen, if you guys want to be off-season friends, that's fine. That's fantastic. You know, that's the off-season. You do what you want. But this guy is not your homie no more. It's time for you guys to really embrace the rivalry. And it's not a joking thing. Like Hart jokes with TJ McConnell. That's his guy, right? They're all friends and cool. But it got to get to a point where you got to take pride in your work. And, you know, watching this video made me sick. I didn't watch it all the way through. Just like I didn't watch the ceremony in Game 6 for Siakam, you know, getting the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But, you know, I don't want to see buddy anymore with these guys. These guys are you've seen them twice in a row. What more do you need for a rivalry in the modern era? Forget the 90s and all of that. This is the second time we're seeing these guys, and they're showing you Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, he's a cool guy, but he's showing you that he really does. He's really trying to kill you, right? He's definitely really trying to kill you. Let me go to. I'm going to be moving a little faster today because I got a lot that I got to. I mean, there's so much news. It's crazy, right? Now, the choke curse, got to talk about it. You know, the choke curse came back to haunt us 30-something years later. Came back to haunt us. And because when Reggie did it, we didn't lose the series. Tyrese Halliburton did it. We lost the series. This image right here, unfortunately, because we lost the series, We're going to have to see this all the time. Every time we play against Indiana, they're going to show this. And God forbid Indiana wins the championship. I don't think they're going to win the championship. If I have time, I'll tell you one of the reasons why I don't think they have no shot. Even us, it would have been an uphill battle. But this stuff right here, it grinds my gears. It really grinds my gears that now we gotta live with this stuff. Coming into the series, right? Coming into the series, I said that Karl-Anthony Towns. I got my 10 keys right here. Okay, this was my Pacers file. Okay, my notes. So I said, Towns just simply owns the Pacers, and my 10 reasons why we should win. He was the only Knick, right? Well, he had the highest plus minus, right? Oh, well, and of course, he was the only Knick to have a positive plus minus. I forgot Deuce didn't have a positive plus minus. But Mitch probably would have also been the other one to have a positive plus minus, but he was thrown into the starting lineup. Double big lineup, no worries. I will talk about that later. But we didn't use Cat right. You know, he was killing the Pacers, but it wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. You literally have two guys on your team that are walking cheat codes, and you still can't get the job done. Let me move forward. Like I said, it's going to be rough. This is going to be a rough watch, but it's going to get better. And like I said, Wednesday, I'm going to give you the 10 reasons, the 10 things I'm looking forward to for next season. Okay? Now, this was another mistake by, well, it's not an NBA mistake. It's a network mistake. Hold on. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. Okay. So this was you know, everyone's trying to get ratings, right? Everyone's trying to do things for shock value, and that's what we're going to talk about on this show with the secret team meetings and the media and what's going on with the Knicks. But Reggie Miller shouldn't have been commentating the game, right? Yes, he was objective for like 90% of the commentary, but the undertones is there. He's a Pacer. Come on, man. He hates the Knicks. Yes, he's a professional. And I think Reggie Miller is not a bad commentator. I think he's solid. I think he does a good job. But at the same time, you know, it's just these little antics that you see here, like with the choke symbol, and he's pointing to Halliburton because Halliburton made a motion towards him, and it's like we as Knicks fans have to listen to a dude that is truly biased. There's no way you can be objective in that stance, in that predicament. Reggie Miller claiming Charles Oakley for the Pacers as the Knicks great still at the odds with MSG. I'm going to talk about that as well. Because I saw Jimmy Buckets. What was his name? Jimmy Jackson. They call him Jimmy Buckets too, right? Is it Jim Jackson? Yeah. I think they call him Jimmy Buckets. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the interview on there. But Reggie Miller, he posted an old photo of himself in Oakley on Instagram. Y'all don't want this man in the building. We claiming him. Charles, you're always welcome to the field house. So now they trying to claim Charles Oakley. Is it because you guys don't got enough alumni that come out? You got alumni that go to other teams? Like Jalen Rose was in Detroit. I don't remember seeing him in Indiana. He could have been there, but I don't remember seeing him. And if he did, he didn't stand out. So now you try to get some of our alumni? That's it. That's the picture he posted. Man, this is tough stuff, man. This is some tough stuff. By the way, if you see anything on the screen, like any articles here, these articles, you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. I'm not going to read everything. There's a lot. This is like a weekly digest for the Knicks. You could go here, and every Monday I drop a new blog entry, and then I also drop the podcast to go along with it. So it's a lot of stuff here. I'm pretty sure there's stuff here that you didn't even know that was going on during this week's time span. So you could go here and check it out. There's more. There's more. Okay, I'm gonna do a positive one. So the captain's wife, right? She shares a message to the Knicks after playoff heartbreak, right? So salute to Jalen Brunson's wife. She says this: beyond proud of this team, New York forever, and big time salute to Jalen Brunson's wife for putting some positive messages out there. Honestly, guys, I think that part of our disappointment is that we felt like the Indiana Pacers were just a better team than them. And so that means we should have beat them and we should go to the finals. The fact that we didn't do that, it erases everything else that we accomplished this season. Let me keep it moving. And then Rick Carlisle. Let me see. Number 12. Rick Carlisle. We make this guy look like a guru. He joins a short list of coaches that actually took 2 teams to the finals. Rick Carlisle, of course, with the Mavericks, which he won the championship with those guys, and the Pacers, right? He also joins Alex Hanneman, Celtics, Lakers, Red Auerbach, Capitals, Celtics, Phil Jackson, Bulls, Lakers, Pat Riley, Lakers, Knicks, Larry Brown, Sixers, Pistons. And we talked about that Pistons teams too. This Knicks team is nothing like that Pistons team. I don't even want to see that reference to the Pistons team anymore. We are nothing like the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Nothing like it. That team had killer instinct. That team was really great defensively, the best defensive team in the league at that time. We have no comparison to that team at all. Our point guards are different. Our centers are different. All of our guys are just different. I mean, the only players that are similar is Rip Hamilton and Mikal Bridges. All right, there's more playoff stuff, but I'm gonna get back to the playoffs because I'm kind of jumping around a little bit later in different segments. I do want to move forward to player and coaches' comments, but I'm gonna see what you guys talking about in the chat before I move on. What are you talking about, Crimes? What is that? Is that a bomb? I don't know what that emoji is. Think about the implosion, guys. I don't know what that is. Salute to my man Sam, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server and channel mine. Let me see. I saw a headline asking if we overachieved this season. No, I don't believe in overachieving. I don't believe in overachieving and underachieving. I value the record. Your record tells you who you are. Okay, Oklahoma City Thunder, 68-win team, greatest differential, dominated in the playoffs, dominated every team, and they're going to dominate the Indiana Pacers in this next series for sure. They struggled with the Denver Nuggets going to 7 games, but to be honest, I wouldn't say that Oklahoma City Pacers. You can see these guys are on my mind still. Oh my God. I wouldn't say the Oklahoma City Thunder, they overachieved. I think you are what your results are, period, right? So, yeah, that's just how I see it. I don't believe in overachieving. Salute to you, Tony Starks. I see you in the building. Salute to you. Who stinks? This guy stinks. Who stinks? Yuri. Salute to you, Darlene Bryant. And salute to everybody else that's joining the stream. This is the podcast, episode 6, the last episode of the 2025 playoff edition. Oh, you talking about Reggie Miller? Okay, I got you, Yuri. I got what you talking about. When the Bills, salute the Knicks would be champs 25-26. When the Bulls knocked off the Pistons didn't shake hands. Facts, but damn, I ain't gonna lie, guys. I think I shut off the game. I don't even think I seen what happened with the handshakes. I was distraught. So I don't even know if they shook hands. I don't even care if they shook hands at this point. All I'm saying is this is no longer your boy, man. I don't want to hear nothing. Yo, I want smoke, man. You don't gotta be disrespectful, even if it's in fun. I'm better than you guys. I'm gonna kill you guys when I see you guys. it shouldn't be so friendly. It shouldn't be so friendly. No, I don't give a damn about AAU culture, man. That's why I like what what's his name, Udoka in Houston. I love what he's doing with those guys. Yo, we rough and tough. We not cool with nobody. Dylan Brooks is the perfect dude in that system. I love what Houston's doing. If I'm Houston, I would get Giannis. I would get a star player, and I guarantee you they would probably be banging with the OKC Thunder in the West. I'm not saying they're going to beat them, but if they get a star player, trade some of those young guys, whatever picks they got, get a star, I love the mentality. We are not friends. No, that's a mistake. You know what? Before I continue, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you guys on the blog a cool little section that you guys could check out. If you go to Discounted Official Knick merch, you will see on this blog, we got links to a lot of discounted Knicks merch, hats, a lot of the hats I wear, some hoodies, jerseys. I'm gonna be adding more stuff to this. I'm gonna try to add pieces every day because I always go window shopping for Knicks stuff. So when I see stuff, I'm gonna be more mindful to post it up on the screen. But anytime you're looking to get some discounted Knicks merch, or you want to check out some of the fire Knicks hats I got, you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, click on Discounted Official Knicks merch, and you'll be able to check out all of the things there. Like I said, even this hat, I think this hat I'm wearing is also in there too. You can search for it. There's a lot of different stuff in here. I try to post like, stuff that's not on the higher end and discounted links to stuff. So definitely go check that out. I'm going to get into these comments. Moving a little faster today. Let's see. Let me just give myself some space. So some of the comments, right? From the exit interviews or the last interviews, the post-game interviews that I want to touch on. Mitchell Robinson left feeling like ish. And you know what? I'm going to give Mitchell Robinson a big-time salute. The brother was durable when he got back. No injuries, no setbacks, no re-injured, nothing. Now, the power, and I was going to save this for Wednesday show, but, man, I'm telling you right now, Mitchell Robinson, he is somebody who could get to work in the offseason. Health. He doesn't have to recover. He doesn't have to rehab. He can actually work on basketball. I think Mitchell Robinson can be a beast next year. As long as he stays healthy next season, comes in the training camp with no injuries, man. But, he says the S word. I don't want to say it. The YouTube algorithm. He feels like ish, right? And obviously, I didn't play the full year. I came back in late February, March, and grinded the whole time all the way up to this point. I'm happy we got this far, which, we got to be optimistic about getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, moving forward, beating the Celtics. These are things that we have to be optimistic for. I'm happy we got this far, but I don't know, man. We gave away 2 games at home early, crazy. Then we're playing out of a hole, and you can't do that. So I agree with Mitch. It was good seeing him get limelight because a lot of people, even Dusty, was like, oh, Mitchell Robinson looks really good. He'll be playing with us next season because the Lakers, they think they could just get anybody. Even on Big Dog Talk Sports, he said, Mitch is, he's that dude. He really is that dude. So, yeah, it sucks for me. It sucks for everybody, but it definitely, I want to acknowledge that Mitch put in a lot of work to come back, and he came back, at a good level. He looked like his old self too. I mean, dominating the offensive glass. He's definitely the best offensive rebounder in basketball. Now, Jalen Brunson, he has some comments that I love Captain, and he's very, very passionate. You could tell his emotion, the way he carries himself from the Mr. Miyagi quotes. And, JB, he's normally well-spoken, college graduate. And some of the things he said, though, kind of bothered me. I'm not going to lie. So Jalen Brunson was asked how confident he was that this core in their first year together could take the next step forward to a title. Knicks captain, All-NBA guard Jalen Brunson didn't hesitate. This is what he said. The utmost confident. Overconfident? Seriously? There's not any type of doubt. Okay? I am confident with this group. Now, I don't know, because I actually saw when he said it. This part right here was a little confusing. Maybe y'all could clarify this for me. He said the utmost confidence, overconfident. You don't want to be overconfident. Overconfident means that you're misrepresenting your actual chances. So did he say overconfident like to shun it? And he means that he's just confident, he's not overconfident? Because if he said that, and this is what I got when I watched the clip, that the utmost confidence, overconfident, maybe a slip up in words, I'm willing to give it. But you see, I have a problem with the overconfident though, because I kind of feel like we're overconfident. I'm telling you guys right now, and salute to the channel members, right, who got on me. And you know what? I appreciate it, because sometimes you're not going to agree with me, but I'm coming from a perspective that is, level-headed, whether we agree or not. We don't have to agree on everything. Some things is just 50-50. Not everything is just one way, right? I was big on trading for Giannis if Giannis wants to come to New York. That's the caveat, like I explained earlier, right? The reason why I want Giannis is not because I don't like these guys. The reason why I want Giannis is because SGA is about to prove it. You need an MVP first teamer to win championships. You don't have no one's doing that besides the 2004 Pistons that they tried to compare us to. We're nothing like the 2004 Pistons. No, and you know what? I'll do an unfiltered thought on that. Let me write that down. That's going to be the next one. Pistons 2004. Nothing like them. You need these guys to win championships. Jason Tatum, last year, first teamer. Not an MVP, first teamer. Right? Year before that, Jokic, 3-time MVP, first teamer. 2022, Steph Curry, the greatest point guard of all time. Right? If you disagree with that, catch me inside the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Go on the NBA chat. We could debate it. I'm not going to debate it now. 2021, Giannis Antetokounmpo, MVP, first teamer. He's a 7-time or 6-time, I think a 7-time first team All-NBA in a row. Okay? We think that we can change the mold. Because yes, like I said, Brunson is a first team caliber player, but he still hasn't won the award, and you don't have a team that won the champion without it. I'm keeping it real. Are we overconfident in a group of guys that don't have the qualifications to get the Larry O'Brien trophy? I don't know. But they're overconfident by Brunson saying that. It was a little, I get what he was trying to say. He believes in his guys. Nothing wrong with that. Ride with your team. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're overconfident, that could be the issue right there. I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna read a couple more of these, and I'm gonna look into the chat, and then I'm gonna continue the show going. We didn't talk about the flagship topic, by the way, yet, guys. So the flagship topic is team meetings, the secret team meetings. We're gonna get to that. We talked about the Pacers series. There's more to it. I'm gonna be bouncing, back and forth with that. I didn't get to Julius Randle's comments yet. Right? We did discuss some of the Game 6 stuff. not really gonna do an actual breakdown because we did a post game show on it and smoke of the week, and there's a lot more to come. So if you just joined the show, you're in at the right place at the right time. Just make sure you hit the like button and definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. I will talk about the channel membership later. But let me keep it moving. So I'm a little concerned about the overconfidence part, right? He might have didn't mean it like that. Maybe I misread it or misseen it. That's fine. I don't want an overconfident group. We need a confident group, but we don't need an overconfident. So Josh Hart, he spoke about his poor performance, but I'm going to keep it real, guys. And I know some of y'all are not going to like this, but I just got to say it. Josh Hart is the only player, probably Towns too, but Josh Hart is the only one that could actually use the injury excuse as an excuse. This brother is hurt everywhere. He has a multitude of injuries, right? And Ian Begley said, just for clarification, the assumption that Josh Hart was using his dislocated finger, which he had a dislocated finger in games. So if you wonder why he's turning over the ball and he doesn't look right, his finger is dislocated and he's still playing. That's a guy I want on my team. I want Josh Hart. He was averaging a double-double off the bench before this last game. Right? So he wasn't using it as an excuse. Salute to Josh Hart. But Josh Hart also said, let me see if I got that quote here. Josh Hart also said, do I got it? I don't got it. But Josh Hart also did his, you guys better come back next year, statement. And he said, but he knows that this team is going to make moves and make changes, but he would like to see the guys come back next season. I'm going to tell you right now, Leon Rose has to improve this roster. He has to, we can't come back with the same team. So running it back means not trading a starter, right? So we come back with the same starting lineup. Maybe we tweak it. Maybe you convince Precious to come back. I don't know. But you're going to have to add another dynamic scorer to your bench. That's the one thing I think we need the most. I would love a 6'9" forward, but maybe you got it already. You got the Kevin McCullough kid. I think he's 6'7", 6'8". You got Pacome Dottier, 6'8". These guys got to get time. You got to see what they can give you. But I would like another dynamic ball handler. Put it like this. You know what I would like? And salute to the Liberty. Salute to the Liberty, man. And yeah, I'll be talking about the Liberty all summer too. I'm going to be throwing them in there because they're killing right now. They just smacked the team by 50 points. That's the team we need to get behind. But anyway, we need a player like a Natasha Cloud, right? A player that can actually make plays, play a little defense. I think the Knicks need to prioritize getting that ball handler. And there's more comments. Coach Tibbs says we need to be better and some of the things from Coach Tibbs, but I'm going to leave it there. Let me look into the chat, see what you guys talking about before I move forward. AP says 7-0. Facts, AP. AP, man, I like that you ride with the Liberty, man. I think he was blind also in game 4, 5, and 6. You talking about Josh Hart? Salute to Coach. I see you in the building. Channel member, one of the first mods on this channel. And he's been in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server when it first started. Salute to Coach. Oh, my God. Salute to J-Tap. J-Tap, I didn't get back to you. In terms of the Summer League, my birthdays are on the 18th of July, right? So I got a birthday coming. I would like to go right before then, but I know that's going to be the worst time to go to Summer League because everybody leaves Summer League after the first couple of games, right? So you're not going to run into nobody. If you really want to run into people at Summer League, you got to go the first days. That's when everybody's going to be there. Everybody. And you definitely going to run into people. Let's see. J-Tap says Hart can't start for this team. Yeah, I mean, J-Tap, to be fair, I love Josh Hart. I never wanted Josh Hart to be a starter. Everybody knows, and you know, J-Tap, I wanted Precious to start when the season started. That's who I wanted. I said, yo, we need to start Precious, man. But hey, he got hurt and he missed the first 6 weeks. And then Josh Hart was playing well as a starter. So that's why they didn't change the starting lineup. J-Tap said, I'm sure he didn't mean overconfident literally. I get why you didn't like the comment. Yeah, you know what? I'm J-Tap and you know, I'm the objective fan. So I'm not a stickler for words, right? Sometimes I make mistakes, right? You know, we all make mistakes. You know, I go by what a person means, not necessarily what they say. Because when you go by what they mean, it can help improve the accuracy of you understanding what they're trying to say, and it will prevent you from being offended by the wrong thing. And I know he knows what overconfidence means. Okay? Brother's a college graduated, and he graduated college early. Jalen Brunson. Very smart guy. Give Ben Simmons a shot. He could resurrect his career in New York. I hear you, Knicks will be champs. I disagree. I'd rather give Russell Westbrook a shot. Because at least Russell Westbrook is going to fly up and down the floor. And I like movement and activity. Could you imagine him and Josh Hart on the floor together? Straight hustle all day. Mets are like the Knicks. Good enough, but can't finish. Can't argue that. And you see, Coach says, any chance we would get that young kid Black off the Magic? Nope, no shot. Crom's dad laughed at Ben Simmons. Yeah, he definitely was already in New York. Okay, yeah, Sam, salute to you, man. Definitely catch the re-recording. I was late today. I had so much technical difficulties. I was having the morning from hell, but I appreciate that, you know, you guys were still tuning in, even though I'm later than I wanted to be. Parrish, salute to you, Parrish. He says, we achieved in spite of bad coaching and culture. Tibbs blew it, not coaching us correctly in game one. That's why we lost. It's crazy. But even like Parrish, like when you go back to game one, where's the pride as players? Like where's the, I know he already made 3 threes. I'm fouling him. You know, like I'm denying him the ball. Like where was that from the players? So yeah, I mean, I get you want to blame the coach, but I don't blame just one person. I blame everybody. Yes, I will weigh the blame. So if captain is captain, he's going to get more of the blame because he's the captain. Coach Tibbs is the coach, so he's going to get a lot of the blame. But at the end of the day, we're not there to know what he's telling the players. So a lot of our gripes, oh, why doesn't he do this? Maybe he is saying, maybe that's why we're having secret team meetings. We're going to get to that in a second. Because there's a lot of issues with communication going on. How do we know that? Oh, I thought I saw my man Sporting Page up in here. Salute to the Sporting Page, by the way. Great channel. Let me keep it moving. Let me get into some of these hot topics. Once again, like I said, I'm not going to read all of this stuff, but if you want to, you can go to thisweekinsidethenix.com and catch up on the weekly digest, and you can see what you might have missed. I do want to present this, though. I think this is an interesting scenario. How would you guys feel about getting Al Horford? How would you guys feeling about him? Let me zoom in a little bit. So on a recent episode of the Hoops Collective podcast, Tim Bontemps suggested that Al Horford he could seriously consider decamping to the Knicks this offseason, given Horford is a free agent with a murky future with Boston after the Achilles tendon tear to the Celtics star forward Jason Tatum, right? It threw a monkey wrench into Boston plans. By the way, if you guys are a channel member, salute to you guys, because you guys got to see my last unfiltered thought, which was destroy your enemies totally, right? And I was talking about the Celtics, how the Knicks did that. And so there's some uncertainty that they will bring back Al Horford, right? Making him an available player that we could actually sign. right? He's a longtime friend of Karl Anthony Towns, and he played with him on the Dominican national team, right? So how do you guys feel about Al Horford? I'm going to say that if you can't get any other forward that's like 6'8", 6'9", or taller, more preferably a younger guy, and Al Horford is willing to come for like just above the veteran minimum, like if he'll come for 4.5 or something like that, I say get him. He could stretch the floor. You could play him with Towns. I'm not saying that you start him necessarily, but if he needs to start, you could start him, right, with Towns. I think he and Towns would look good together in the starting lineup, right? He's a corner boy, right? He also can post up on mismatches, so he's going to keep the defense honest. Like, you're not going to dump somebody, because like a lot of times what opposing teams would do, they'll dump their weakest link on Josh Hart. No more of that with Al Horford there. He's also a solid interior defender. I think the problem with Al Horford would be him sucking up the $8 million, right? Do you give him $5.5 million? That's going to leave you with $3 more million to sign 2 players, which would be very difficult to do even for the great Leon Rose. So I don't know. I mean, he's an accomplished veteran. He knows how to play the game. He's going to show up in the playoffs. If you can get him for the low and he's willing to defect from Boston, and now you take another key player from their roster, continue to destroy your enemies totally, I'm for it. I'm not sure how you guys feel. Let me keep it moving. So I'm gonna touch on Julius Randle, right? And time-wise, it's cool. Let me see. Yeah, we talked about the Pacers, Randle, Game 6 we touched on a little bit. I didn't get the team meetings yet. I'm going to get to that shortly. Smoke of the week, I'll get to that after that. Okay, cool. So we're good on time. Now, look, I'm going to talk about Julius Randle, okay? Because Julius Randle, oh, boy. People, they leave the Knicks, and they always got something to say. Honestly, I'm gonna give a salute to Isaiah Hartenstein, because I like what he said. I'm not going to touch on it. I have it here. But Hartenstein, he had positive things to say about the Knicks. And I think that if you're happy, you see, this is the problem. This is the problem. People are not happy with the moves. So when you're not happy with the moves, you're going to say something negative. Because think about it. Why would a person that was happy in their situation say something negative about their previous situation? Karl Anthony Towns. He never dissed Minnesota. Not one thing. He had not one bad thing to say. You know why? Because he's happy. Dante was sour. He was, barking at Rick Brunson and Coach Tibbs. Guys are not happy. So, my computer's about to die. Don't want to lose the stream. But so when you're not happy, you're going to say things. So sources stress that Wolves viewed Randle's ability to barrel in the paint and bounce off and spray passes to the opposite corner and find weak side cutters off drives was more optimal supplementary fit than the superstar. A more supplementary fit to superstar Anthony Edwards than Towns. Okay, so they really believe that. I don't believe they believe that. I think that the reason why they got Randle was because they thought that he'd walk. Randle has a $30 million player option. I didn't see anything about him opting in, but that could change. If he doesn't opt in, now you're in a salary or a dispute over salary. And then now he'll become a free agent. And which in that case, I think the Detroit Pistons, they should step up to the plate and sign Julius Randle because he's a terrific player. I don't have nothing bad to say about Julius Randle, the player. I just don't like the comment, right? So Randle had this to say about life as a star in New York. It ain't fun. It ain't fun. You can't really focus on the game. You're focused on everything else other than the game itself. You're living and dying with every single shot, every single turnover, every single loss. It's not fun. It's not a fun way to play. It's exhausting, right? So that's what he had to say about his time in New York. Now, I'm going to objectively say this. What he's saying is not incorrect. It's called New York City pressure. You guys are brutal as fans. You guys as fans are brutal. Look at how you talk about Coach Tibbs. Look at how you talk about certain players you don't like. Add that with the media, the New York media, which to me is the most ruthless when they're not on your side. Oh boy, they're going to tear you apart. So everything you do is under a microscope, right? And it is tough. And that's why New York City isn't for everyone, right? That's why there's certain players I don't think that we should ever bring to New York, because I don't think they're built for the media scrutiny and what's going to come with the fans and just the criticism. Not everybody can take criticism. So Randall is kind of showing me that he wasn't built for New York City. You wasn't built for New York City, man. And then, like, if you're having trouble focusing, is that really the city's fault? Is that really the team's fault? Maybe you're just not cut out to do it. Yes, I do agree that I think that, especially us as fans, you know, we apply a lot of pressure. But at the same time, this is why I like Captain, right? Mr. Miyagi. Because Captain's going to say, it's either you listen to none of the criticism, right? You just tune it all out, or you got to listen to it all. And Captain, he is built for it. That's why he's the perfect star for New York City. Julius Randle, you're not cut out. But you got to think about it, right? Why even, like, I don't know what he was asked. You know, yes, the media is full of dirty tricks. Facts. The media is full of dirty tricks. So I don't know if he was, you know, set up to answer the question like that, because this is the Mikal Bridges thing, and I think we're going to have time to talk about that. But where they ask you questions and now you answer it and then they frame it in a way. Maybe that's what's going on here. But I feel like if New York wasn't that fun, why were you so upset to leave this place? Why were you so upset to leave this place? I'm just saying, you know, like, you can't have it both ways. New York was this bad place. You signed here, you re-signed here. Why did you re-sign here? You just sound like a bitter ex, man. That's how you sound, bro. Why did you stay so long? You didn't have to stay in New York this long. You didn't have to take the pay cut. Well, maybe you did, because they were saying your contract was a bad contract. I disagree with that. I actually defended Randall to a point where people thought I was a part of the Randall hive. I'm not a part of no hive. I'm the objective fan. I'm a part of the Knicks hive. That's it. I just feel like there's a little bitterness there with Randall. And more than likely, he probably won't return to Minnesota unless he takes the $30 million player option. If he opts in with the $30 million, it'll be great. But if he doesn't, because he thinks he deserves more money, I don't think they're going to match it. Signing trades, Detroit Pistons, you know, different things might happen. So we'll see if he's going to be happy in his next spot, because I don't think it's going to be Minnesota. So that's my take on Randall. Got the Randall stuff up out of there. So now that we're getting ready to get into off-season mode, right? And by the way, this podcast will continue to run 365, 7 days a week. You give me 50 minutes, give you the Knicks. I always will be doing these shows on Mondays. Now the timing may change. I may be, you know, a little late. I may have to shift stuff around. But every single Monday, we've got a podcast. We're going to be talking about all this stuff. And since we're shifting gears to off-season mode, I want to talk about the contracts. Now, Knicks enter the offseason with Brunson, Anunoby, Hart signed through 2028, Towns and Deuce McBride through 2027. Bridges and Robinson are entering the final years of their contract. It's too early for them to lock in any major decision. Yeah, because you just lost. So this is not the time to make a decision. But Bridges' next deal will be the story of the summer. He becomes eligible. Here's something I didn't realize, and I forgot to factor in. His maximum is 4-year, 156. 4-year, 156 is not a bad contract. To be honest, I don't know if he may have devalued himself by not performing to an All-NBA defensive standard or to a standard that maybe they thought that he could reach. So I could see the disagreement in, is he worth this money? But there's some decisions that needs to be made. But seeing that as his max, so that means that he's not qualified for the OG Anunoby deal, right? This is the max this summer. Not as bad as a contract as OG's technically. I mean, it's kind of similar because 4-year, 156, 5-year. Well, OG's a little bit more. But seeing this, I think there's a number that they'll agree to. I think there's a number. I think Bridges will continue to be a Knick unless the coaching stuff is true and there's some tension with the coaching staff. Maybe that could lead to some unhappiness there. I don't know. But Mitchell Robinson's another decision that they're going to have to make. How much do you give him? I don't know. And while we're talking about it, let me move to the since I'm a little bit into the off season. And like I said, I'm gonna get back on track. No worries, I'm gonna get to flagship. Here's the question, and I think I'm gonna do this poll as well. Run it back or run out of time? Knicks have questions and need answers. And look, I'm gonna say what running back means to me. Running back means to me everybody comes back, including Coach Tibbs. That's what running it back means to me. What does it mean to you? You guys got to figure that out. And to all my I'm gonna get the 5 tips, but let me just stick here. Let me just finish this point. I'm gonna move on. Running back or run out of time. Right now, I'm saying run it back because more than likely we're not gonna be fortunate enough to get Giannis. We're not gonna be. Like, he's going to want to go somewhere else. Or Leon Rose might make his first real mistake and don't even consider the Giannis trade. Nah, we're good with what we have now. We're not. We're not. If you have the opportunity to get a first teamer, you got to get it. But where I'm at, though, in terms of running it back, yes, I want to run it back, and Coach Tibbs is included. So you guys in the chat, Crime's dad, whoever else is in there. Who else is the anti-Coach Tibbs hive? I'm not sure if Trevor's there. Who else is it? I'm sorry. Who else is a part of the anti-Coach Tibbs hive? I should have y'all throw some ones out there. By the way, Crime's dad, I see you number 1 on the gamification. J-Tap, running back. I believe running back bring everyone back. Facts. And of course, a few tweets. Now, when we say, okay, so I'm glad you said that, J-Tap. A few tweaks is like if you change the bench, yeah, that's fine. Like running it back for me is like, okay, you come back with Mitch, you come back with Deuce, and then everybody else is expendable. But like your starting lineup, the guys who started, the starting lineup could change. But I'm saying the guys who started, they all come back. Deuce and Mitch come back, and now you make those other tweaks. That's what I mean by running it back. The key guys come back. Yeah, the bench can. Those guys could be traded. Even if you trade Mitch or somebody like that, it's still kind of technically running it back because Mitch wasn't even there for 65 games. So, I mean, yeah. So those are smaller tweaks. Yeah. Okay. So we can make small tweaks, but I'm saying running it back. I'm talking about the 5 main guys and Coach Tibbs. How about that? Running back. Yeah, okay, you could get a bench. You could get a bench. Running it back with a better bench. That's what running it back means to me. I'm for it, personally. And just to like make this a little bit more positive, because this is we lost in the playoffs, man. Like, it's hard to smile, even though we do have reasons to smile. And like I said, on the Wednesday show, I will get to that. Okay, for sure. Start my clock back. All right, so Brian Windhorst, right? He says that there's other footage to the event that happened when the guy, remember we covered it last week, where the fan was coming at him and calling him the P word and was following him, and he was walking to his hotel. And so Brian Windhorst said those were not Knicks fans, those were hooligans, right? He said this on the Pardon My Take podcast. Knicks fans were not a block away from the Garden at 12:30 in the morning. Knicks fans were all celebrating themselves. The truth is that there's other footage that apparently is not going to become unearthed where hands were put on me. They put hands on Brian Windhorst. Nothing serious happened. People put their hands on me, and I had to shove their hands off, and I basically jaywalked across 35th Street to get away. So, wow, dog growls. Once again, Brian Windhorst, and this is the clip that we're talking about right here. With the guy, he was chastising Windhorst. I don't want to see nobody disrespected, Yeah, I mean, you can talk spicy. I don't have no problem with the spicy talk. I mean, I wouldn't call them a P word. That's out of the ad hominem attacks. I'm not for it. I don't need to diss nobody personally, right? I'm very witty. I can if we just keep it in, like you seen how I handle Indy on the call up show, right? I'm very witty when it comes to those snapbacks. So I don't need to talk about your character and how you look, and that's corny to me. This is sports. But Wendy was talking. He was speaking down on the Knicks, and Knicks fans are passionate. So you catch a man in the street, now he has to address himself. He also says I was never in serious danger, but it was not pleasant at 12:35 in the morning. Those are not Knicks fans. Those are not the same people I saw 2 hours earlier enjoying one of the great moments of the Garden of their lives. So I don't adequate the two things. I'm a kind of agree with Wendy that guy, he shouldn't have went there. He don't represent Knick Nation. He probably is a Knick fan, but he don't represent the entire community of Knick fans. We would not have done that to you, Wendy. So I'm going to apologize to you on his behalf for putting hands on you. Not for talking spicy to you, but for him putting hands on you. I don't like that wherever it went. It's a little hard to believe, though, that you ran across the street. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That part is a little hard to believe that you ran away. But one of the things you got to realize, especially if you're outside, and I'm outside, right? But I don't have problems with people because I'm not disrespectful to people. So when you say certain things that people don't like, they're going to approach you. This guy was wrong. He shouldn't have took it there. He shouldn't have put his hands on you. But I'm glad that it went the way it went. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was hurt. And so I'm a salute Wendy for being a good sport about it. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was hurt. So, but it is what it is. Be prepared. If you come to the Garden talking crazy, yeah, there's going to be some crazy people that's going to get at you. And then since we're talking about crazy fans, right? I think this will probably be the last hot topic I get into. There's a lot more. You guys, like I said, you could go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. Pacer fan allegedly stabbed Knicks supporter at the Indiana Brewery during a playoff game. Now, this is crazy. Fans getting stabbed at games, at watch parties, not at the game. And some of the details is this, man. Man suffered a minor lung tear and a broken rib, while the second man suffered a leg laceration from falling or from fail. It says from falling. Both men were bleeding profusely, according to the report. The alleged victims said Funk smacked a Knicks hat off one of them, which is crazy. If you smack my Knick, I can't even imagine. Nick, I can't. That's crazy to me, right? So he smacked the Knicks hat off, and then he said, "F you. You have an effing problem. Take this outside." And he was taken away from the Knicks supporter by his father. As the Knicks fans were on the patio, the alleged Funk stormed through the fence to attack them. One of the alleged victims said he briefly displayed a black folding pocket knife. That's crazy. This dude right here, he looks bugged out. Stay away from this dude, guys. If you see this guy in any street, you cross the street, unless you're about that action. This dude is stabbing dudes because they got Knicks hats on. Where they do that at? I said Boston fans are the worst. I don't know, man. Indiana might be up there, man. This is insane. But he was charged with battery, right, by means of deadly weapon. That's a serious charge, resulting in a seriously bodily injury and criminal recklessness committed with a deadly weapon, according to court documents. Right? Wow. Okay. The first two charges are level 5 felonies, and the third is a level 6 felony. Okay. Yikes. And then hold on. Do I got the statement on why he's hold on. Let's see. He was charged. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think this is it here. The quote. They stabbed the man. Okay. Documents. Hold on. There's a crazy reason why he said he stabbed him. I thought I had that. Oh, yeah, here it goes. Okay, cool. Funk told the cops that the Knicks that the Knicks fan started the altercation by talking ish. Okay, so we all talk ish. What's the problem with that? You shouldn't get stabbed. With one of them pushing him to the ground and punching him in the face. But witnesses said, no, sir, he was the primary aggressor. Even if you get punched in the face and pushed to a ground, you gonna pull out a knife and stab somebody? What happened to the good old, scrapping days where it's a one-on-one head up? You in a fight and you gonna pull out a knife? Come on, dude. Nobody ain't trying to hurt nobody like that over sports. Crazy stuff. All right. Now I'm gonna jump in the flagship, guys. But before I jump in the flagship, I definitely got to show you guys the shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com, shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, man, where you could get some of the cool latest merch that we have. Bam. So we got the Captain 11 line and the Bodega Cat line, man. Look, I got it right behind me. Bam. Bodega Cat, Captain 11. Okay? Boom. We got t-shirts too, not just hoodies. We got all different types of flavors for you, depending on what you like. Some of you guys rock hoodies in the summer. I don't understand that. But we got the mugs. The mugs are the best seller. Everybody loves the mugs. This is the Bodega Cat mug. Go get yourself a mug now, man. Relax. You could drink whatever you want out of it. I like to drink water. I'm not really a coffee guy. We also got the This Week Inside the NYK mugs as well. I think this is gonna be the next one I put in an order for. And we got the Captain 11 joint. Of course, this is the best seller right here. Everybody loves the white Captain 11 mug. Everybody. I'm telling you, it's selling a lot. And then we got, this is the Captain 11 t-shirt that I was telling you about, right? And we also got it in white. And we also got it in black. But the white joint is chill because it's summertime, so you want to make sure you're reflecting the sunlight. So go get yourself a white tee. This is the mug I got on the shelf behind me. This is the monochrome edition. Look at the New York City skyline. Fire. Captain 11 is fire, man. And this is the black t-shirt. But yeah, go to shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com and order you something, man. And by the way, channel members, you get a discount on all these merchandise you see on the shop. Okay? Now, I'm going to jump into flagship now that I got that commercial out the way. All right. So flagship. Once again, I'm not gonna go over the game stuff because we did game reviews for that. If you want to see the game reviews, you could always go back to the old shows. I mean, they're fire, especially the call up shows. The call up show, I ain't gonna lie, the last call up show it had me dying laughing. Seriously. Now, I want to talk about these secret meetings, right? The spooky meetings, the serious meetings, the meetings that happen because the team was out of sync. So some reports came out. The Knicks this year was prosperous, but were also imperfect. New York organized multiple team meetings, right? And these are player-only meetings after embarrassing defeats throughout the postseason with varying degrees of intensity per league sources. Now, I understand journalism. I'm a fan moonlighting as a journalist. I would never claim the title journalist, even though I took classes in journalism, multiple classes in journalism. What I will say is this. When we get into the off season, and even during the season, we've seen the sensationalism, right? We've seen the making something that was not really that serious into something big and broad, right? Big and so these sources reporting these things, I mean, I'm going to keep reading. It's not uncommon for teams to hold meetings without coaches, but it's rare for squads that went as far as the Knicks. And they did it as often as they did, right? During the playoffs. And for the kicking the behind reasons, they occasionally deem necessary. So they're saying because they had so many team meetings that is problematic. And some of the details of these meetings I got. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Off the rip, I'm going to say this. Like, being that I play sports still, the game gets emotional, Will. Especially if you're in a tournament and it's high. The higher the stakes, it becomes more pressure. I've seen great players like in the park. Like I'm talking about handles, all of that. You put them in a tournament with a clock, they become ordinary, extraordinary. So emotions are high. And when you're interviewing players and you're talking to them in the heat of the moment, right after, like even like Jalen Brunson, I felt like he was rattled with the overconfident comment, right? And maybe he didn't even mean to say that, but when you're in the moment and you're feeling down and all these things, and I think there's just some overhype in there. Hold on, let me I think this is the one that had actually what they discussed. So publicly, the Knicks made veiled comments all season about poor communication causing their inconsistencies. Behind the scenes, they and coaches expressed frustration with Towns' defensive habits, less concerned with his talent level and more with his process on that end. So one of the things they were talking about was Towns' defense. It's not just about Towns, but this was one of the many issues in these meetings that were expressed. And everybody went back to, was that game 2 or game 1 where OG and Brunson and them was all on the bench, you know, kind of going back and forth, right? Everyone cites that. I think that might have been game 1. Anyway, Towns executed incorrect coverages without communicating why he did it. After it became a theme, players were worried that he didn't grasp the importance of it. I don't want to single out Towns because it wasn't just about him, but this was one of the things that constantly came up why they needed to have these team meetings. But I will say this about Towns. Bad habits, bro. It's bad habits. It's just, it's habits that he was able to get away with. And it didn't look as big of a deal because, one, he wasn't on as big of a stage, right? So, and two, his role in New York is bigger than it was in Minnesota with Ant-Man. When Gobert got there, his role was lessened. So his defense wasn't as much of a liability because the Minnesota Timberwolves had the best defense. So it's sort of like OKC, right? Where if you had a guy who's prone to fouling, he might not get as much fouls because the team itself is so great defensively. But these are some of the things that they discussed at the team meetings. I just think Towns has habits, and I think he needs to work with Mark Bryant and even Mitch and just really work on quelling some of the habits, like developing better habits. The offensive fouls, I mean, yeah, the defensive stuff he does at times is silly, but he can cut his fouls down by just avoiding offensive fouls, right? Not that you won't get one or two here and there, but just the frailing of the arms, the hooking. Like, I mean, he really needs to curtail that. So that's one of the things they talked about. Oh, yeah, I think this was the one here. Okay, cool. Let me open this one up. So, okay, cool. So New York organized multiple meetings, right? So this part here, the 2025 Knicks dealt with disputes on the bench, criticism about starters playing too many minutes. Okay, Mikal Bridges. One of them, which came from the inside, public comments about sacrifice. Remember, we talked about that. Egos, we talked about that. And agendas. So these are some of the things that was discussed. On one night, they would roll back from 20 points to ruin the Celtics. Yeah, totally. Crush your enemies, destroy your enemies totally, right? 48 laws of power. On the next, they would mail in potential series clincher. So obviously, that would require a kumbaya moment. So basically, the positive moments that happened in the Celtics series put out the fires that existed, which caused these meetings to transpire. Okay? So it's funny, right? Some of these words we've seen before. We've seen Josh Hart say publicly, hey, we need to put our egos to the side. We did a show on that. Remember? I downplayed it, right? I downplayed it because I said he was sounding like Coach Tibbs. But for it to come out here, it's making me think, who's the one with the ego? Because it's not just Towns. Towns was the defensive stuff. That was Towns' stick, right? That they were getting on him for. But who has an issue with sacrifice, egos, and agendas? I feel like because we lost, right? And it's the off season, I think some of this is clickbaity. Like, some of this is not really that serious, right? But then I think some of it has some real sustenance to it. I think some of it could be an issue. Could be an issue. Now, we don't really know outside of the Towns quotes, because no one was, they didn't say like Bridges has an ego problem, right? But the minutes, criticism about starters playing too many minutes, that's interesting. That's interesting to me. Because I still stand by Mikal Bridges when he was asked the question. I felt like it was framed to make it like it was contentious. I feel as though Mikal mentioned it to Tibbs, like he said. We talked about it. Not that I pulled him to the side to say, hey, these minutes are too much. But, so these are the details of the secret meetings, right? Let me see if there's more. Well, I could add this to the fray as well. So PJ Tucker, some people, they wanted to use the organization to sign a player that could play. Others, they wanted a guy like Thibodeau, right? I mean, like Thibodeau, like Tucker, right? Who could be okay with not playing his role that he played. But this is what Tucker said. The situation to get stops, to have help. You know what I'm saying? To me, we have the talent, but that's 80% of everything else. Being able to communicate, being able be able to get stops, be on the same page on offense, and be able to read each other. We needed to do those things instead of putting our hands up and looking at each other. And I did notice some of that. OG Anunoby was a culprit. I remember when Brunson made a three, and OG's like this because he's wide open, and Brunson just made the three. So if Brunson would have made the three, I could see OG looking like, you don't see me? But did they talk about that in the next timeout? I don't know. But PJ Tucker, he spoke about communication and how he helped with the communication, and salute to PJ. But this is the reason why they had these secret team meetings. PJ Tucker, he referenced communication was a problem. Look in the comments. Precious, the bench. Let me see what you guys talking about. Let me jump in. Mikel never looked out for OG. Really? Salute to you, H.R. the Great. Channel member, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. You say he never looked out for OG. Damn. Precious, the bench, possibly. Precious. I'm gonna release that Precious Achua story probably within the next couple of weeks. I spoke about it on the podcast. I met a dude who drove a really fancy car, was telling me he had dinner with Precious Achua. I'm gonna drop that. Especially like as we get further in the off season. But there was some gremlins made that, Precious didn't like the way the young guys was being used. Just saying. Salute to Maxine. I see you in the chat. Love and appreciate your support. She's not only in the chat, she's in the room too. Salute to Max. Let's see. Salute to Fritz. Fritz in the house. President Chua may have an agenda. Hey, he might not be the only one, man. Josh Hart sounded like a man who knows he might be traded. Ooh, he did. He did say, that, he know changes has to be made. Tibbs doing wrong? No way. I think this is deeper than Tibbs, Crim's dad. I think this is deeper than Tibbs. When you got players that are not on the same page, yes, the coaching helps with that, but the players also got to take accountability. Where are your vets at? Who your captain? You got a captain. We got a captain, right? Why captain ain't helping with that? He's a player. He's the leader. Do we have leadership issues? I don't know. Crim's dad said, Maxine, don't encourage Quran. Too late. Crim's dad, you funny. Captain 11 mug can't stop my coffee from spilling. Bad defense. Facts. Can do a lot, but it can't do that. Oh, Yuri says that was game one. Yeah, that was game one. It's a momentary lapse. You had a good run. No, it's a fact. I mean, yo, HIM, yeah, you had a good run. And and like I said, to talk about the secret meetings, I really think that, yes, there are issues. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I don't think that it's a problem heading into the offseason, right? Mikal Bridges with the coaches. Do I got that? Hold on. Mikal Bridges with the coaches. Did I click on this? Number 4. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. But let me bring it back to captain. Okay. So it appeared this team grew closer throughout the postseason, right? There's issues that spilled onto the public view, right? Remember, that was game one. Salute to Yuri. He was on the money with that. The group went through challenging situations together, several of them, and often came out the other side as victors, right? There were some in the organization who went into the postseason worried about how this team would handle adversity. Those concerns were erased, right, by nail-biting victories, which, that's going to help. When you're winning, you just forget everything. So this is what JB said. You can't experience without getting experience, right? You can't get experience without getting experience. It helped us out a lot. This is what Brunson said. It helped us out a lot, brought us closer together. I think for the most part, we see a lot, we hear a lot, but we make sure we're on the same page together. This is what the captain is saying. Regardless of what anyone else says, all you other guys out there who are trying to say that there's trouble in paradise, we got each other's back. Now, that last part, I believe in. I believe that last statement. Towns and Brunson, they did their post-game speech together, Game 6, right? All the other guys, I mean, of course, you're disappointed. It's a loss. But, yo, we hoopers, man. Like, man, that's stuff that happens in the game. You don't take that stuff home for the most part. But, yeah, this is what Brunson said. Okay? And this is all tied into the secret team meeting. So, we have the privilege of social media, right? DVR recordings, going back, watching the games, looking for stuff on the bench. Oh, I remember when my man Mike from PA, Harlem, the PA, salute the head Mixtape Madness Discord server. He was like how he put up an image of PJ Tucker looking like upset with Towns doing trying to draw a foul when we're up 20 with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth. And so, that's just game stuff. That's not. But here's the thing. The writers are going to take it and make it into like, oh, there's trouble there, these secret meetings, and there's a league, right? And we know that the league is going to be from players that's not going to be here next year. You know that. Those guys ain't going to be here next year. But the core guys, that's who I'm concerned about. That's who I'm concerned about. Let's see. Tips can have a stadium full of benches. Crowns, I'm not reading no more of your comments, man. You are hilarious. AP said, it is the worst season. Is it the worst season? No. But I am disappointed. I had 57 wins, and I thought we should have gone to the finals and that we destroyed the Empire. Well, we did destroy the Empire, AP. All the members know because I did the unfiltered thought on that. We definitely destroyed the Empire. Crush your enemies totally. That's what we did. And Yuri, I see you. Yuri probably got the realest statement out there. Give Tibbs a bench. I ain't going to add the D word, but he said give him a bench. So let me move forward, guys. We're in the final stretch. I talked about flagship, about the secret team. Ooh, the secret team meetings. Oh my God, there was tension with the team, and there's trouble in paradise. Who cares? I'm gonna move into the comment of the week. I'm gonna give a big time salute to my man Miguel P. Salute to you, Miguel P. This is from the Mixtape Madness Discord server. This was like one of the best comment of the week's comments that we could have. I mean, there's a lot to it. I'm not gonna go over everything that's there, but what he was answering was a poll that I created inside the Mixtape Madness Discord server. No worries, I'll tell you guys how you can get inside the Discord server in a second. But he put this comment up there because I asked, what move would be most beneficial to the team? Should we fire Coach Tibbs or should we trade for Giannis? Because to me, the root cause of your issue, and I'm hoping that Brunson can change it. I'm optimistic even for next season, but you need that All-NBA first team or MVP. You don't win without that. So you want to fire a coach and continue to build a team that doesn't have the first team. So this is what he was responding to. Okay. Now he says, I'm gonna look at the last paragraph. All players have their strengths and weaknesses, and it's coach jobs to extract the most valuable possible against every opponent. Tibbs seems to try to do that. Tibbs seems to try to do this early in the season, but then becomes extremely rigid thereafter. I see the problem. All his philosophical approach to coaching, which impacts his instincts and overall judgment. I believe it encompasses the whole of the problem with this team. That being said, this team was built for Tibbs, even though he said that. He said a lot more. But I just wanted to give a pre-comment context to this last paragraph. That being said, this team was built for Tibbs. Firing him will more than likely force the changes to the roster to accommodate the new coach. Bingo. And this is to all you guys, Crim's dad, Trevor, all you guys as a part of the anti-Coach Tibbs hive. You guys are not considering. This is why I asked the question. Are we going to, Maxine, please stop. Are we going to fire Coach Tibbs, or are we going to trade for a star? Right? It's like Trevor says this, right? You're doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So firing him will more than likely force changes to the roster to accommodate a new coach. I believe those changes will set this franchise back years. So he acknowledged Coach Tibbs' shortcomings. Even earlier in this quote, he says that, let me see. In season 3 and 4, he was scared to get fired, that he pushed the starters by running the shortened playoff rotations, right? To get as many wins as possible, which many believe led to injuries down the stretch. That's cap. It didn't. I thought he also said, oh, okay. I thought he said that you should fire Coach Tibbs. I guess I got that wrong. Okay, no problem. But this is the comment of the week. It's a great comment. To all the people in the Discord server, if you missed this was in the poll discussion section. Okay? But I'm going to give a big time salute to my man Miguel P for the comment of the week. Even though he was a harsh critic of Tibbs, he said what I think the most, important part was, if you fire him, you're going to set yourself back. You're going to set yourself back. And of course, now look, I'm going to do the smoke of the week, man. So, dog growls for the smoke of the week. Now, the smoke of the week is Paul Pierce ain't wrong. The smoke of the week is not Paul Pierce. Even though he said, man, let me roll this Knick pack up, then lay them down. The smoke of the week is not the dude from Indiana that was dissing the Knicks celebrities. I ain't talk about it, but I seen it. I can't remember his name. I don't even want to say his name. It's irrelevant. It's not those guys. My smoke of the week goes to the New York Knicks. For the first time all year, we gave a smoke of the week to the Knicks. This is how we're going to remember you this season. This is how we're going to remember you. I got a list of things here. I'm going to try to truncate it because of time, but I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, this way. See that? Got like 8 things here. It's more. The reason why the Knicks are getting the smoke of the week, dog growls. You blew a huge opportunity. You were the favorite, even though it was a small favorite entering the series. You had home court advantage. You blew it. You lost the first 2 games at home. That means you didn't even give yourselves a chance to even win the series. You lose the first 2 games at home. Then you're supposed to be the best road team in the playoffs, and you can't get 2 games in Indiana. Then you come back to the Garden, get us all hyped. How many of you guys remember Game 5? We did a call-up show. How many of you guys remember that call-up show? We were so hyped, 111 to 94. We held the Pacers to 94. Who was it? Was that Mike from Harlem, the PA, who said that he thought that Coach Tibbs was playing possum, not showing his full hand? I think that's what Indiana did in this game. I think they say, yo, first quarter, we're going to give it a go. If we ain't got it, we're going to hold back, and we're going to see them, and we're going to crush them in Indiana. The Knicks get the smoke of the week, man. Coach Tibbs. I love Coach Tibbs. He's one of the best coaches in Knick history. I know y'all guys don't want to hear that. Ooh. Coach Tibbs is one of the best. He's top 5 coach in Knick history. It's a fact. It's a fact. You don't want to hear it? Tough cookie. Top 5 coach. He's what? He's number 4 on the winningest coach list. But he made a lot of mistakes. Double big lineup, trash. Double big lineup, Busora. Hey, how you say trash in French? Double big lineup, the worst thing you could do. I'm going to say this, and y'all going to get mad. I don't care. Salute to my man J-Tap. He loves the double big lineup. I don't think you should run the double big lineup next year. Somebody said that in a Discord server too, that, oh man, you're going to have to run the double big lineup all year. You're not going to like it. I'm just not going to like it. I think that Karl-Anthony Towns is a center, not a power forward. If you want him to be effective, put a power forward that next to him. Somebody that really can complement his game. The same way Jokic and Towns is the same player, except that Jokic gets a little bit more points and more assists. They're the same player. The same player. Jokic only gets more assists. Jokic don't play no defense at all. At all. At all. Towns don't play defense and da-da-da-da. Towns needs spacing. You put Mitchell Robinson out there, there's no spacing. Now, could they work on it on the offseason? I have no faith in it. I'm going to keep it real. I don't want to see the double big line. I don't like it. It's something you do off the bench. I don't like the start in the double big lineup. They were a minus 12 the last game, a minus 8 the game before that. Yes, I know they were a plus 18 in this game. Oh, the double big lineup works. It works. The double big lineup works. We won. Karl-Anthony Towns is a center, not a power forward. Do we have to go through his basketball reference? You put the power forward alongside of him. I told y'all that. I never wanted to start Josh Hart. I wanted to start Precious Achiuwa. There's spacing. He's a corner boy. He can set screens. He can play in the dunker spot. He don't have to clog the paint. You put Mitchell Robinson out there, now Towns is not driving the ball. There's no more driving for Towns. Why? Because if I'm a smart coach, I'm just going to have my center just camp out. So the double big lineup was a catastrophe, bro. And I'm mad that Coach Tibbs switched up. If I was a coach, I'm doing what I'm doing. We're going to lose anyway. I ain't changing nothing. I don't care. I don't want no compliments from none of y'all. Y'all don't like me anyway. I'm doing it my way. Sorry. Double big lineup was a mistake. You're going to put your season on the line for a lineup that never played together. That's crazy. That's insane. Okay? Yeah, they're getting the smoke of the week. Tibbs shifting his philosophy, right? Playing more bench guys. That was a mistake. Yeah, I said it. It was a mistake. What got us here was Tibbs being stubborn. Yes, I did like DeLon Wright. I ain't gonna lie. I liked DeLon Wright and Shaman. Those were great additions. Salute to those brothers there. I think that at least one of them deserved to come back for sure. For sure, without a doubt. I love that addition. I've been calling for it too. I'm not going to cap. I was calling for those guys to be added. But at the same time, you're Coach Tibbs. You're stuck in your ways. I didn't like it. I mean, no, I did like it. I ain't gonna lie. I liked it. I'm capping. I'm capping on that one, guys. I did like it. I like that change. Okay, cool. I like that change. But all I'm saying is, though, I don't like that he shifted his philosophy to try to I felt like he was appeasing the fans. And I don't know if this is true, but they were saying it came from the higher ups or something like that. I don't know. Listen, if it came from the higher ups, Tibbs is getting fired. That's the first sign you're going to get fired. They don't like what you're doing. Yeah, you're going to be up out of there. They're telling you what to do. If the front office is telling you what to do as a coach, your days are numbered, right? So I don't know if it came from him or if it came from up top. Last time I checked, he had a good relationship with Leon Rose. We hadn't been here in 25 years. I don't see why you would fire him, but hey, you just never know. The offensive schemes, garbage, Busora, trash. Basura. Maxine's trying to coach me, guys. Did you discover how to say it in French? No, I want to say it in French too. I want to say it in all the language. I want to say it in Japanese, Chinese. Hot garbage. First off, what happened to the third-ranked offense? We were the number 2 ranked offense. We were a number 1 ranked offense at one point in the season. It didn't last long because Cleveland took that over. But we were a number 2, number 3 ranked offense for a long time. What happened? What happened to the offense? Pre-All-Star break, we were a number 3 offense. Post-All-Star break, we were like 20-something offense, and it carried into the playoffs. I love Mitchell Robinson. Salute to Mitchell Robinson, the blockness monster. I love him. How you say it? Paboule. Paboule in French. Paboule. Whatever. In French, in all the languages you want to say it in. It was hot garbage. The offensive schemes were bad. Then you turn the ball over. Yo, the Knicks were what number 4? Hold on, let's pull it up, man. This is gonna be one of those extended podcasts today. Hold on. The Knicks. Let's get the Knicks up here. It should be the Liberty up here, but we're gonna get the Knicks up here. You know. Yeah, I'm riding with the Liberty this year. That's my team, yo. They're gonna be the only ones to win the championship. Yankees gonna let us down. Mets definitely gonna let us down. Don't even talk about football. And these Knicks, man, oh my God. So look, we were the 5th ranked offense, right? That's where we finished at. For the season, we were 5th in turnovers, 13.3 a game. Go to the playoffs, right? Hold on, nope, not doing that. Because Detroit, we protected the ball against Detroit. I want to go to the series and see what the turnovers were looking at like. So this is the series stats, right, for the Pacers and the Knicks. Let's see if I get the, hold on, per game. I got to see advanced stats. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get it. Why am I only seeing Indiana? Okay, New York basic. Okay, yeah, basic stat. I passed it. Okay, cool. But is this the totals? We average a lot of turnovers. You know what I do? I do one better. I got you. I know what I do. I'm just going to go to the game logs and just call it out. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do because I'm doing this. This was on the fly. I didn't plan on showing the turnovers. But since I'm mentioning it, I want to put it on research. But you already know how we get down on this channel. So we were number 5th ranked offense, right? We were 5th ranked in least turnovers. 18 turnovers. Game 6, 15 turnovers, even in the win. There was an article, I didn't put it on the screen, that said, it warned of this. It said, yo, even though the Knicks won, turnovers is still an issue. 17 turnovers in the game 4 debacle, right? 15 turnovers in another win. So even in the games we're winning, we're getting 15 turnovers. And then who could forget the 15 turnovers in game 1? 5th ranked offense, our offense went in the toilet. It's like we forgot how to play offense. And don't get me started with Indiana's defense. Indiana don't got a good defense, bro. That's cap. Anyone that will tell you Indiana's a good defensive team, what do you mean by good defensive? If you're saying because they're ranked in the top 15, okay, all right. But to me, a good defensive team is top 5, top 10, which Indiana's not. They are an okay defensive team. Like I said in the keys to victory. They all right. I'm not sure if you could see it, but I said they all right. They all right on defense. So you turning over the ball against a team that's not even that good defensively. No pick and rolls. Brunson and Towns, they ran a little pick and roll. Didn't really see it, especially with double big lineup. What pick and roll you running with a double big lineup out there? That's easy to trap. Can't run a pick and roll with Mitchell Robinson on the floor. Only time you can run pick and roll is if he's setting the screen. But you're not going to get no Brunson Towns pick and rolls. Bridges and Mitch. Guard to guard pick and roll. Josh Hart's the only one setting those pick and rolls, but y'all don't want him on the floor. When's the last time you see Bridges set a guard to guard pick and roll with Brunson? The offense was trash. Transition defense was trash. But how you say it in French, baby? Was Pablo? Pubele. 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 Transition defense, Pubele. They got, Charles Barkley said it. When Charles Barkley starts sounding like he really analyzes the game and he's not just there for jokes and entertainment, you know you in a bad spot. One of the best things I heard Charles Barkley say was like, yo, the Knicks, they in trouble because they got 4 or 5 layups in the first half on made baskets. Are you serious? Hold on. I know I have here on this is my keys to victory, right? It's my keys to victory. Control the pace. Offense is your best defense. So in controlling the pace was dominating the glass, so that way you limit opportunities to for them to run in transition. I know the coaches know this. I know I'm not saying nothing the coach don't know. And they get 5 layups on made baskets in the first half? Man, listen, y'all. I could be here all day. I'm going to end with the defense on Siakam. Pubella. Busora. Trash, if you don't know what that means. Trash. Okay? Pascal Siakam, I say, yo, he probably only got 130 ball in him because I'm thinking these Knicks is for real. I'm thinking that we all of that. We going to shut him down? Nope. He gets 3 30-point games. And my man OG, I don't know what happened to his defense. Yo, he dominates Pascal Siakam. He kills him. I did the video. I told you. I said, yo, OG, man, that was one of the keys to victory. Hold on. Look at that. Let me see if you can see it. This is with the 10 keys I did. See that? With this number 8, OG on Siakam. There's more. I'm going to end it there, man. Knicks get the smoke of the week, y'all. We dropped the ball. Big time. And it sucks. Let me move forward, man. I'm sorry I had to take it there. These guys just... Then you got Paul Pierce talking about he's smoking on a Knicks pack, and I can't even get at him. They disarmed me. I can't even defend the Knicks. I look crazy defending the Knicks. I would look like a true stan defending the Knicks. I'm going to jump in the word on the street, and then we're going to end it there, I think. Because I hate everything else. Yuri says, yo, would I keep the starting lineup? Hell no. No. I never wanted the starting lineup in the first place. My logic was, I didn't think you had a better lineup than the starting lineup at that point, unless you was going to go with Precious. But it was too late at that point. Once you get into the playoffs, that's not the time to change your lineup. So don't get it twisted like this is the lineup that I love. I just felt like it would be problematic for you to change the lineup. Tendril says Tibbs never had the ball to drop. Salute to you, Tendril, by the way. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server channel member. Crimes that said Tibbs can't juggle the starters and bench, so he dropped the ball. And we had the best starting lineup in basketball. They played the most minutes together. And then now I'm going to take that away because I want to go double big lineup. Save that for next season. And I'm going to keep it real, y'all. I might have to do a double unfiltered thought on the double big lineup. I don't think it's going to work. Don't think, because the offense is going to suffer. It's going to suffer. Wow, Tendril said trade Cat. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the trade Cat. But anybody goes in the deal for Giannis if he wants to come to New York. And I'm standing on that statement. That's if he wants to come. But I also don't mind running it back. Oh, okay. So Knicks will be chance says, look at the assist numbers before and after the All-Star break. We could do that. You know what? I'll do that real quickly. And then I'm going to wrap on Word on the Street. Because I didn't really pay attention to that. Let's pull it up. Let's go to NBA.com, which is a maze. Good luck trying to find stuff on here if you've never been here before. All right, so let's go see all player stats. Let's go to teams. All right, and then let's go to regular season. And let's go to pre-All-Star break. Oh, it still got me in the playoffs? Hold up. Oh, no, I'm in the regular season. All right, so yeah, we go here. Then we go to pre-All-Star. So look, we're going to look at the assist numbers pre-All-Star break. 27.6. We were 4th in assists. Tied with, I'm wrong. Sorry. Scrap that. Hold on. Pre-All-Star break. So we were 10th in assists, 27.6. Okay. So then we're going to do post-All-Star break. Post-All-Star break. Oh, yeah, we dropped a little bit. It's still 27, though. But it dropped a little bit. It did. I see what you're saying, Knicks will be champs. Our ranking definitely dropped. Ranking definitely dropped. Make sure I saw you. Well, yeah, it dropped a little bit. Okay. I get what you're saying. Let me get the word on the street. But before I get the word on the street, I do gotta show you guys the channel membership, man. Remember, I was talking about the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. This is the only way now to get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Once you join the channel, of course, that's not all you get, but it's one of the perks that we made. No offense to the open forum Discords where everybody could go in there. I don't like that because it's too much trolling. I like to have serious conversation. And some of the serious guys you see in the chat, Knicks will be champs, 25, 26, right? Tendril, HRM, those guys are in the Discord server, and we have great conversations every day. And so the only way to get in there, you would have to join the channel. We got 24/7 Knicks chat, and we're gonna be talking Knicks even in the off season. You guys already know off season is gonna be crazy, but we talk about other sports as well. So definitely get up in there. It's a great way to extend the conversation with me after the show, before the show, during the games, even though there's no more games because we lost. But anyway, so that's one thing. You get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Of course, all the channel members, when you sign up for the starter Knicks fan package, which will be the only package I talk about right now, the $4.99, you get the cool little badges as a way to identify yourself, and so you can stand out. And I see you guys in the chat. I'm gonna be doing members only chats. Like more than likely, the Wednesday show will be a members only chat. I also do members only videos as well. And I kind of paused on the members only lives because I said, you know what, I just make those members only chats, and that way it'll satisfy, the best of both worlds. So you get access to those things, which I do quite frequently. Especially, I got this video series called the Unfiltered Thought series, where I just be blacking out at 3 a.m. and I'll be talking about different topics, man. The last topic I talked about was destroy your enemies totally. Our mission accomplished against the Boston Celtics. Okay, so you can check that out once you join the channel. Of course, priority reply, because I drop a lot of content. I try to drop videos every day. If not, I drop content, polls, certain things in the chat. In the community section. So when you guys comment, I look for my members and I automatically get back to the reply, because as you can see, I'll be putting some interesting stuff up there and people be having some very, I say, intriguing comments. Okay. Talked about the Unfiltered Thought series. I'm gonna be doing more members only content. Get ready to get back outside, get my hoop game on. I'm gonna start working out this week. The rain kind of messed me up last week. Every day I wanted to go outside, it rained. It kind of threw off my whole schedule. This week I will be outside. So I'm gonna be filming my games, and when I go out, that'll be members only content. And of course, I have more other exclusive members only content as well. Of course, members always get shouted out. Salute to everybody, all the members. I appreciate you all. And the members also get a discount on the merch. So the merch I showed you guys earlier, like these things that's behind me, the Bodega Cat t-shirt, the Captain 11 mug, the Captain 11 hoodie. We also got the Captain 11 stuff in t-shirts as well. So I had to share with you guys the membership. Hopefully you guys take advantage of that, especially if you're a subscriber. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I mean, hit that join button. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, but hit that join button. And I appreciate all the support from all the members. Okay. So I'm gonna hit these word on the street points right real quick. I dropped that this couple of hours ago. All right, cool. And you can still vote on these polls too. These polls are in the community section, okay? I don't want to even start there. I'm not gonna start there. I'm gonna start here. So I'm gonna start here. Did DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet earn contract extensions next year with the Knicks? Right, and this of course was based on their performance in the series against the Pacers. Right, making the most of their times. I like DeLon, but I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be a player appreciator. I'm gonna say they both did. So 61% of you wouldn't mind running it back with those two guys. And honestly, with the $8 million, we could bring those guys back. We definitely could. It'll just impact us getting somebody closer to that $5 million mark. But hey, if you believe in those two guys, go get them, right? 17% say Shamet. So some of you guys like Shamet. 5%, a lot of you guys ain't feeling DeLon, huh? Well, I can't say that because 61% said that he should come back. And then 17% had the sad Leon Rose face. No, they won't be back. Okay? Like I said, you can still vote for these polls. Despite the crushing loss to the Pacers, would you consider the Knicks season a success? Okay? I'm going to say yes, even though I'm tight and I did a smoke of the week. And I'm probably going to drop that clip tomorrow. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say, yeah, I think the Knicks season was a success. If you would have told me they would make it to game 6 of the conference finals, I would be happy, right? If I didn't know nothing about the season, like you just told me, like, this season you'll make it to the conference finals. Like if you was a genie or something like that, I think I would be happy. And then I dropped this poll today, a couple hours ago. Is Tyrese Halliburton now the Knicks' most disliked villain? I go back to the 90s, y'all. I don't think for me personally, because I think this is also a personal question. For me personally, the worst villain is Michael Jordan. I shouldn't have said his name. Damn, I messed up. The bald-headed guy out of Chicago. That guy is my most hated villain, to the point where as a grown adult, when I started buying my own sneakers, I never owned a pair of Jordans, and I will never own a pair of Jordans. I'm taking that to the grave. I will never, ever. You will never catch me in a pair of Jordans. I'm sorry. The only way I would consider it is if a Knick gets a shoe deal. When's the last time we had a Knick with a shoe deal? And they signed with Jordan. Then I would consider getting Jordans. But outside of that, I would never. And you could mark this down. I would never buy a pair of Jordans. So I'm going to say no. Tyrese Halliburton is not the most. And wow, a lot of the OGs spoke up. Because I feel like if you go back further, Halliburton is a pup compared to the villains we seen in the 90s, right? Compared to the villains we seen back in the day. He's a pup. But 61% say no. 39% say yes. Once again, you could vote for these polls in the community section, okay? So we could end the pod there. I do want to give a big time salute to everybody that watched the podcast. I appreciate the support. All the channel members, Crime's Dad, Knicks will be Chance 25, 26, Coach, AP, salute to you. One of the first mods on the channel, Yuri, J-Tap, right? From Brooklyn, from BK to the Bay. I'm going to give a big time thanks to everybody. Maxine, of course, the great Maxine, who's in front of me. Salute to Maxine. Salute to FS Wisdom. By the way, FS Wisdom, I be seeing you in the chats, man. You having some good things to say, man. FS Wisdom, he pushed me into a corner because of the unfiltered thought, right? And I said, all right, man, Brunson could be a first teamer. He should have been a first teamer. He pushed me in the corner with that, man. Salute to you, FS Wisdom. I appreciate your support, man. Salute to Tendril. I also see you, Mixtape Madness Discord server channel members, man. To all the channel members, I appreciate you guys. To all the subscribers, I appreciate you guys as well. You know, Lou Boogie, Fritz, I see you. He says Basora is Spanish. Yeah, I knew that. I knew Basora. You know, I took Spanish class in high school. I know a little bit of Spanish, you know. Not that much, but I didn't know how to say it in French. That's what I was trying to figure out. Salute to everybody, man. That's all I got for you guys today, man. Listen. This season was a success. Still very disappointed. Still wish that we could have got the different results. But the season was a success. And I'm optimistic for next season. Be on the lookout for that Wednesday show. I don't know if I'm going to do that a late night show or I'm going to do an afternoon show. I don't know. I got to figure it out. You'll see it in the video section. But that's all I got for you guys today, man. And until next time, let's go Knicks and trade for Giannis.